Is it possible to define rock and roll for you?
Well, the way I look at it is this. They have all these names for music, and it's really not fair to give a band like a name of a style of music unless the band is like saying that's what they do. To New York Dolls, everything really comes from blues, and then it evolved from there, So when we came along, the term rock and roll was very cool, like rock and roll. Yeah, that's really a cool thing, So we want to be a rock and roll band. Rock and roll, to define that, though, is difficult because it's very kind of vast. But I think I can make a difference between rock and roll and rock music, okay? To me, rock music is kind of very straight kind of beat, where rock and roll kind of swings, and it pushes and it pulls, and it's not just like marching straight through it. Rock and roll is a more swirly trail. When we met, we were like teenagers, and we just decided, well, we're going to write the songs about what it's like for us to live right now. You know what I mean? So instead of just like, oh, baby, baby, I love you, oh, baby, which is like what a lot of music is, Rock and roll is very kind of primal in a lot of ways, so the people who like it, I think, the people who like New York Dolls really are, majority of them are people who have an artistic kind of viewpoint about life, and they're not really like listening to media so much about what they should like. These are people who know what they like already. They don't need anybody to tell them, So usually that turns out to be people who are either artists or are considering becoming artists, you know what I mean? So it gives us a very kind of special kind of audience, We are like a rock and roll band. So what we want to do every day, or at least 5 days a week, is make rock and roll music, And so in order for us to go around and play rock and roll music, we have to come out with a new record every couple of years, So essentially, the manager called us up in November and said, you guys have to make a record. And then we said, okay. And then we were saying, well, who are we going to get to produce it? And then a couple of weeks later, somebody said, oh, Todd Rundgren is available. And we said, where is that? And where does he want to do that? And they said, Hawaii. And so we were in New York, and it was like cold and wet. And we said, okay, let's do that. So we went to Hawaii, and we made this record in January, and now it's going to come out, I think, on May 5th. It's called Cause I Said So. We're very excited about it because it's new, it's a new baby. And it's got great songs on it, and it gives us the impetus to be able to keep playing, for people. People who are interested in music or maybe don't even know it yet, they notice this music as like 10 songs play and then the New York Dolls songs play, and then you go like, oh, well, what was that, So I think it had an influence on, certain kids to make a band for themselves, Like, oh, this could be fun. This looks like it's a lot of fun. I think I'll do it too, And so then a lot of those bands, they started calling them punk bands, So that's really all I know about it. How will the concert be? I would imagine there will be a confluence of the planets being aligned in such a way that the floor will disappear and we'll all levitate for at least 45 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much,
Thank
David.
you.
Nice to meet you.